What's up?
Hi everybody, how are you guys doing?
Friday, May 29th, 2020, the year of our Lord.
And just like it's another day, another opportunity for us to have a discussion and hopefully bring more action to this because our last conversation was about Ahmaud Arbery, and we made some comments and we enacted some things with our social network. But here we are again, Aaron. Here we are again.
Yeah, and Ahmaud Arbery was what got us talking, got us fired up. We've been fired up since day one because our last show we talked about my brother Yofi's experience with my brother and cousins having a similar instance as Ahmaud Arbery with being a survivor. He's a survivor, right? And now we would think while the iron is still hot, you would think it wouldn't keep happening. But now we have George
Floyd, and before Floyd was Breonna Taylor. So in the span of a few weeks, we're seeing basically like every week we have a new African American that's losing their life by somebody who's supposed to serve and protect them, somebody who's supposed to ferry them to the legal system so they could be adjudicated based upon their constitutional rights. But we have these officers who are acting as judge and jury. We have these citizens who are acting as judge and jury. And so, like I said, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of sounding like a parrot, just repeating the same thing. This is a loop that we don't enjoy being in. We don't enjoy this type of conversation, but it just shows you how pervasive it is. This is our second video. We did a video and we put a little space between. Breonna Taylor was a situation, but this situation just highlights how commonplace it is. We could have had any number of topics, but it hasn't even been a month. It hasn't even been one month.
Not a week.
It
happened right after.
Right afterwards. This is how these police officers celebrated Memorial Day by killing an unarmed African American. It's unfortunate, but we're gonna go step by step into having a conversation. I've shared a link with some of my friends. I don't know if they'll join or not, but I shared a link, and the link will allow them to come in and have a conversation with us. We're going from Ahmaud Arbery
To present day.
So you can call it from jogging to knees and necks.
Knees on necks.
Knees on necks.
Man, I mean, great. They run down all the things Black people can't do in America, and now it's gotten to the point that you can't even breathe.
Can't breathe.
It went from you can't walk home with Skittles with Trayvon. You can't,
Can't be at the playground with a toy gun.
You can't, play in Walmart like we've all done. You can't. I mean, there's literally nothing you can do.
Can't play your music.
Can't play your music. You can't even be in your house. Henry Louis Gates was just trying to go home, and that's where the beer gate with President Obama and the officer. There's nothing you can do in your home, out in the public. You can't bird watch. The guy. Oh, we forgot about the bird watching Chris Cooper in Central Park.
And I'm gonna jump on that when you said the Chris Cooper guy. When I watched CNN. They had a reporter get arrested
in Michigan, Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis during a report. But watching CNN, they did Don Lemon had Chris Cooper on, just speaking with him about the situation, and it was very humbling because it was almost like the situation that occurred in South Carolina when Dylan Roof went into the church and shot all those people who were just worshiping. We do so much for giving. It is sickening to me because one of the key components of a Jewish individual is their intent to never forget.
Never forget.
The reason why the Holocaust may never happen again is because they are intent on never forgetting. And so it amazes me when I have, my Jewish friends, let me pull that back from Jewish friends, my Jewish associates who they are Trump supporters, or they don't have an issue with Trump. I don't know if they remember this situation called Crystal Knot, where Hitler broke the glass of the businesses and the homes of all the Jews in Germany at the time during Crystal Knot, the night that he marched those soldiers and those Germans with their torches all through the night in ritualistic manner for the killing that they did, the killing, the raping, the stealing, the robbing. But it happens in Charlottesville, and you're advocating support for a guy who allows that to happen, a guy who says they are very fine people. I can't understand it. And so that forgiveness component, that intentional amnesia, is beyond my comprehension. I don't understand it.
We agree on that. And I think we talked again about that the last show. I said, listen, it is in our nature as a people, African American people, to forgive. It has gotten us through slavery, segregation, and even to this day, but it's not working. What it does is it relieves those who offend us of the guilt, and those who sit silently, they also get relief and go, they got it taken care of, it's okay. It will never be top of mind. It will never be a sense of urgency until we shame it and hold them accountable. And we need to not only do that socially, but we also need to do it through legislation. We need to make it where, in the case of Chris Cooper, and I knew he was going to forgive. There was something in my spirit that said he was going to forgive, and I respect his right to do so. I much admire it, but I'm right now, even in my faith, I'm vehemently opposed to forgiving any human being that leads with, I'm going to tell them an African American is attacking me, because she knew that was a key thing that she needs to lead with a 911 to get people to come arms drawn to hurt him. She knew of Central Park 5. They were in Central Park in the Ramble. Everyone in New York knows about Central Park. It became the story back then. Donald Trump did a full-page ad to have him executed, and they were not the ones. Even the victim,
DNA evidence
proved that they weren't. And he did not apologize, because let me tell you what would have happened had the police shown up and believed her, and he did not have video evidence. They would have knees on necked him because of his size. He was a sizable gentleman, but he's a bird watching. Marvel comic, no harm at all, no threat. And if he had been killed, she would have slept easy. Let me tell you what she would have done even more. And I need you to hear this, because you've already seen what she did on camera. Once he was killed, brutalized, or jailed, she would have gone to her friends crying like Susan Smith did when she killed her 2 boys. She would have been crying like Casey Anthony did when she blamed a Hispanic woman for killing her beautiful daughter. They would have cried and gotten people to welcome them,
outpouring their
support, sending her money, holding her in. And what will happen systematically, she will begin to believe her lie. And years would pass, and she will have already attached herself to the belief that he was a threat when she, in that moment, knows she was lying. She said that my life has been ruined and destroyed because of this. But it was not because of what he did. She did not acknowledge that her life has been destroyed because of her own actions.
Your own actions. It's very simple. It's very simple. I really have to say that she is going to a playbook. She's going to a playbook that she's seeing in her social media feeds, that she's hearing in her water cooler conversations, that they're, speaking on Fox News. She's hearing the playbook. It's just like when you go to Google. If you want to see something, you put in a keyword in the search engine and it gives you what you want. And so they're giving them the keywords. When you're in distress as a woman, they tell you to yell fire. Because if you yell rape, some people aren't going to respond. But if it's a fire, people are concerned for their own life. And so they want to protect themselves and they'll respond to it. So it's the same thing as them calling fire. The thing that you do is you call 911. When you call 911, you get an operator, you say African American. And if it's a male, even better, because they'll see it as a threat. When they do that, they're doing something intentionally. They are invoking a justice system that is not the one where the lady has the scales of justice. They're invoking the runaway slave patrol. That's what they're doing. They're not trying to have justice. They're trying to get the runaway slave patrol on the African American. And if you understand what the runaway slave patrol is, it is the history of policing. There was no policing before. If you watch Westerns, the town paid somebody to protect that place. And they protected goods, wagons, stock, things of that nature. When it became a situation where we became free, then you need to have night riders. Then you need to have, we need to keep slave uprisings down. We need to keep slaves on plantations. We need to return slaves to their rightful owners. That's the policing that we see today. That's why the people who are saying African American when they call 911, they have no fear because they know this type of police is not for me. It's to keep me safe. It is to put you in a position where your life is in jeopardy. And so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing, I wish I could not say this, but we're seeing what all those people who seceded from the Union, the traitors, the real people who left the Union, the Confederates, when they say the South will rise again, this is what they mean when the South will rise again. This type of behavior, rising again. White nationalism, rising again.
It's happening. It's happening.
The separation of the races, happening again.
And this is what Trump has pushed for. This is what Bannon pushed for. This is what they've said out front. They're not, when people tell you who they are, like you've heard before, believe them. Here's what we need to know. What she did was illegal. It's equivalent to swatting. You familiar with swatting?
It is that.
Swatting is when you call someone up and say that there is a bomb or terrorist, whatever, and they descend on the house and, SWAT shows up.
Could kill somebody.
They could kill someone. And if they kill him or hurt him, there is consequences to the person they find are the swatters.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be connected to some degree with swatting. When she made the decision to leave, and then she also said, and my dog, she knew that they protect white women and animals in the face of a black man. That is a horrible. Let me tell you the second thing that hurts. She affected the Me Too movement. When you have a woman who lies like that, and the emergency personnel, they don't know whether or not to show up or not, you actually hurt when somebody is being raped,
legitimate,
who's being possibly threatened to kill. You take resources away from people who really need them, and he simply asked her to obey the law. She is a criminal, and that's why it can't be forgiven. If we're going to forgive, I want you all to understand, if we're going to operate with forgiveness, release everybody from prison. If the logic is we must forgive this woman in Central Park, we must forgive the officer with knees on necks, that's trending, by the way. Mm-hmm. We got teenagers and coach teachers posting up pictures of knees on necks, reenacting it, and playing it like his death was nothing. If these things are things we must forgive, release the people from prisons. If that's the practice you expect from us, release them from prisons. You're not going to release people from prisons because they said that they're sorry, unless they're conservative or Republican, and that's not cool. We're in a state of crisis here. Now, I know, let me tell you something else that's important. Yofi, my brother, again, Yofi Dowell, Arab Dowell, said playbook. This is not conspiratorial. George Bannon, if you pull up video, has been very expressive about wanting to tear down our republic and rebuild it. The problem is we don't have anyone here who qualifies as founding fathers of anything. They're ignorant, short-sighted, and selfish. What our forefathers did, who were not perfect, who were also racist, and we weren't the beneficiaries of their dream, but they were intelligent enough and more well-read enough to create a constitution that could carry us forward. They want to turn it around. and turn it into something else that only benefits a small group. That means you too, white America. That all this base that are supporting Trump, I've met Trump in my life. When I met him, he did not care about rural white people. He was very much a New York guy. He's only appealing to you because you were voting for him and sending him dollars and $5 and cents. I'm telling you, and you know this in your heart, before he ran for office, he never came to any rural community, ever.
You're being conned.
You're being conned. He is laughing at you. I'm telling you, when he came...
Howard Stern admitted it. That's his guy.
You would never be invited to his place.
You'll never get to Mar-a-Lago.
You will never get to Mar-a-Lago. He is an elitist. He does not care. You care about him because he speaks your language of fear.
He speaks your hate.
But he really doesn't care about you. There's a bigger plan that's bigger than you that benefits him and his family for generations to come. And you're not a part of it. That's why whether you're in Kentucky with coal miners' lung, whether you're third generation losing your farm, whether you're, a military vet who
factory worker
is out of jobs, he does
truck
not
driver
care.
That's not getting prepared for automated vehicles. This guy, I have to go right back with you with this playbook. I must commend my sister and all the individuals that I've seen on social media. What they are doing is when they see these teachers, these employees, all these individuals who are doing these things to African Americans that are unconscionable, they are finding their phone numbers. They're finding
writing letters.
They are making it known who these people are. They are not allowing them to hide. They're making them accountable. You cannot be like Trump. Take a match, strike a fire, and run away and look at it burn. That's not happening. You like my sister said, you don't have what he has going on right now, and that's the full weight of the United States government. So what I am thankful for is that we're starting to have more and more individuals who aren't allowing these things to take place. They're being very active. That's the action that we ask. See these things come about where people are doing unconscionable acts. Pass that information around. Make them accountable. Call their job.
Every time.
You have to. If you are an employee of someone, you have to act accordingly. You have to act like a reputable individual. You cannot represent a company or a corporation in a manner that's not befitting. And so, if you're going to go out there and doing that, there has to be repercussions for what you do. And I'm gonna even go further when I say playbook. Trust and believe. If you're an African American, anyone of color, they are saying things and they are doing things that when you are involved, there's an immediate reaction. So be careful when you hear people say he's an African American male, or they start calling out your race and your gender.
Yeah.
Be careful when they say I'm using my Second Amendment right, or I have the right to stand my ground, or I'm doing a citizen arrest. These are things.
Or your patriots bringing guns to a state office, but you're thugs. By the way, we didn't even touch upon that. The riots going on in Minnesota that we have discovered were actually whites starting. Whites. We didn't know that. I mean,
these are the disruptors.
And I don't think that they were just opportune people. I do think this was by design.
It is by design. People want to call it conspiracy, but you have to understand that.
You can find this picture and video online. We found it. It was at AutoZone. They found it. It was he tried to cover himself, but they said that they can target it to that person. So he didn't start rioting over there before us. He didn't. I believe that was to start what we call a race war, which Trump has wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're tight for time, so one of the things I want to do is let you all know that visit IFS Academy on Facebook and on Instagram. You could visit Seven Sages Global or Marketing Communications on Facebook as well, or Araba Dowell or Yofi Dowell. We want to hear from you. You can messenger us. You can share. I want to hear white, black, Hispanic, Asian, gay.
I want to hear from white people.
You. I want to hear.
I really want to hear from white people because I'll be honest with you. As I've gotten older, I've gotten less and less. I have less and less white associates or friends.
But that's all we had growing up.
That's all. When I was at Jonesboro High School, that's all I had. But now I have very few. And so when I look at some of the white associates that I had back then, and I see what they're saying on Facebook, I'm blown away.
I
I'm
am too.
literally
It
blown
hurts
away.
me because these are people we grew up with. You know us. You know we're not thugs. You know we're not monsters. You know we don't deserve knees on necks.
But I'm gonna take it even further, Ara. They, they were being politically correct. They were one of the few. They were one of maybe I think it's the second generation of people who were explained to you can't call them niggers. You can't say this. You can't do that. They were told that it's a different day. This is the world we live in. They were just being tolerant of us. That's what I've come to understand. That a lot of my white associates that I had when I was younger didn't really have genuine interest. They were just more so in a position where they had to be tolerant of us. And I see that now more than I ever did when I was growing up. And it's a sad reality because I would tell people that, I've got white friends and they're not like that. I was one of the individuals who, by and large, would try to advocate that not all individuals are the same. And now what I'm realizing is, I'm not going to mention people out by name, but there are people that my father basically helped their lives in terms of direction.
I know.
Hardcore Trump supporter.
I know.
As much as African Americans have done for this guy,
help them.
And all he wants to do is see, man, this is amazing.
And it's jealousy. It's jealousy because I believe part of it is that when we were growing up, we used to be like, oh, we were kind of like, you can't say that in front of white people, or you can't do this in front of white. There was a little bit of subtle hidden fear that we did have coming out of slavery and segregation. And they enjoyed that power. And now that they've seen us kind of come up and level up or even elevate up to the point of Obama, I think there's true frustration. And like, how did this happen? And this, I was supposed to be the inherit that fear, that power, and I don't get it. And this is how we finally have a savior, Trump, who's going to make America great again, where I can get that again. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not picking cotton. I'm not picking cotton. I'm not going to be raped. I'm not going to say whatever of yesterday you want. We're not going. This is not going to go easy.
And I'm not going to be raped either.
We're not
because that's the
we're
part
not going easy.
That I'm glad you spoke on. I'm going to give you a movie with Ken Norton Sr. It's called Drum. You need to watch that because it talks about how slavery really went down. It talks about how we were seen as less than human beings. And what's amazing is how many of those individuals didn't have any problem raping men or women. But take it a minute, take it a little bit deeper. If you don't even think they're humans, you think they're animals, they weren't raping men and women, they were raping animals.
And but that's sad, that's savagery. But I'm going to end it on a positive note, because I know we're short time.
I definitely
the positive note is we do have white brothers and sisters who
I'm thankful for the ones who are speaking up.
And the reason why we are out of slavery and out of segregation is because there were people that did not look like us, that were white, who died alongside us and fought alongside us. And I believe that they still exist. We need to hear you. You cannot be silent. You cannot be vocal when it's something that deals with us, and then quiet when we're hurt. Mm-hmm. We need your voice. We need your action. If you are genuinely, if you care about me, if you care about Yofi, we need you not to be silent when you see injustice. And the second thing is, please vote. Please get your family members and friends to vote. Ask them. Don't assume. Ask them. And show them how. You can messenger me, Arab Dowell or Yofi Dowell, if you want to know how. If you're a felon, there's a way that you could possibly get back the right to vote. There's a window, but we got to do it. If you're going to be 18 by the time November comes around for voting, but you're not 18 yet, I can show you how to do it. We want to help. We have to write. We play to your strengths and talents. If you don't know what to do, if you're an artist, sing for justice. If you're a writer, write for justice. If you're, an athlete, play for justice. Whatever you are, your passion is, use that for this movement. We are one of many, and we're not backing down. I'm not going. The world that Trump has for us, if he wins in November, we're going to talk about this in the next episode. Hold the vote with Puffy and Ice Cube and them. Cut that out. Hold the vote. We can't play. You should have done
This
that
ain't
3
no
years
game.
ago. It's not a game.
This ain't no game.
We're not holding the vote for anything. Trump has already told us what he has planned for us. We're not holding the vote. If Biden is what we have right there, we're not holding the vote from Biden. We're going to hold him accountable, but we're not holding the vote. It was the most ignorant thing anyone can ever say, that they're not going to vote, or bringing up stuff that is light in comparison to what Trump has already
You
done.
letting this guy do and say all this mess, and then you want to nitpick.
We will remember our friends.
Interrupting. I would love for you all to push the message every time this happens. Stream, hashtag, do whatever you can. Voting information. If DAs and sheriffs and all these individuals who are elected have an incident happen in Minneapolis, and they see that uptick in voter registration, especially, they'll pay attention, because
put links to it. Put links to it.
You got
list of people running, and who's not for you and who's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do your part to educate people, because people don't know and they don't know where to go.
You got to do that. You have to educate them and give them an opportunity to be active, and so that education will give them a chance to utilize their behavior. I also would like to say that whether you do the the mail-in, or you put your feet on the ground and you vote, you got to do it. If you don't vote, you are one of the biggest problems we are facing today. I don't care who you vote for, but you have to vote. Why do you think all these people died? If it wasn't worth doing, it would be no.
Why do you think Trump is so desperate to cater to this base if it wasn't important?
He understands that if we mobilize and vote, it's over with. His best bet is that we listen to idiots who tell us not to vote.
And I'm going to put money on it that we don't know if they're getting paid. Every time a Puffy does that, Puffy's in New York, maybe there's something behind the scenes. I'm going to start questioning.
But this is the guy who's telling us to do the Black Book.
Yeah.
You remember, and I spoke.
But that's money. Anything with money, I'm going to tell you, African Americans who are about money can be compromised.
Be careful, bro.
Be careful. So if they tell you to hold your vote, don't listen. No ancestor who suffered would advocate. Dr. King wouldn't advocate that. Malcolm X would. They would not say hold the vote. Voting is one of the things that they fought and died for. That is an uneducated, that is a position of power and privilege that he gets to say because he has money you don't have. But guess what? If Puffy was in a situation when the officer pulled him over and hurt him, he's going to be like, vote.
Vote him out. His interest, he's going to go toward his interest. But like I say, we'll be back. I hope there's not another incident where we have to speak on somebody's passing. We didn't even get into speaking about COVID. So many lives are being lost, and
African Americans
is African Americans.
By design.
That's why our votes matter.
Please help. Please help. I love you. My brother loves you. We want to hear from you. Again, my name is Araba Dowell, Yofi Dowell. We both have our personal sites and our work sites, IFS Academy. Did I say that correctly?
IFS Academy
and IFS Productions. Seven Sages Global. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Please reach out. We are many. I'm watching other shows just like this, and I'm loving it because the collective voices are for the win. When many gather together in his name and pray and act, we win. Trump has already made it clear that he will pull on Russia and others to help corrupt our vote. We know this. So in as much as we can get the numbers in, it lessens the probability of the cheat. Mm-hmm. So please add links to everything you do. Don't just say vote. Add links where they can do it. To the Secretary of State. Mm-hmm. List the people who are running for office and why you support them. Educate, because I get people asking me all the time, who should I vote for? Because they don't know. Mm-hmm. Put their faces out there, And so I know we're short for time. Again, my name is Araba Dowell. You can email me at arabadowell@gmail.com or arabad@sevensagesglobal.com.
I would like for you just to DM me at Freedom to Create. USA. You can find me on Facebook at Freedom to Create USA as well. And it's not the number 2, it's TO, Freedom to Create USA.
Yeah. We thank you for your time. And we know our family and friends are watching. We want to thank Toyin Dowell for being our producer. We're getting better with time. And, we're very proud of the work that she does in educating the minds of our youth, critical thinking, logic. These are all the things that they're going to need to help us win the war against racism and social justice. So thank you, Toyin Dowell, for your help. Bye-bye. Enjoy your weekend.